Hello and welcome to episode 15 of the Final Whistle, the Lewiston Tribune Sports Podcast. I'm Sam Taylor, sports reporter for the Lewiston Tribune and the Moscow Pullman Daily News. And with me is the Trevor Junt. Hello, Trevor.
Hey, Sam. Happy to be here. Happy to talk a lot of stuff going on today.
It was another busy, newsy Monday. The Pac-12 debuted the first stage of their first media rights deal, reaching an agreement with CBS for football and men's basketball. The NBA Finals, Game 7 was Sunday. Oklahoma City Thunder won their first championship in Oklahoma City. Save our Sonics. And then Jesse Davis, alumni of Asotin, an alum of Asotin High School and University of Idaho, retired from the NFL today. So we'll talk about all that and a little bit more right here on the Final Whistle. Be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. Watch us at alumtribune.com at YouTube. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple, wherever podcasts are sold. And we'll be with you every week. Though we will be going on break next week. Happy summer. Alrighty. To lead off with the Pac-12 media rights, this was news that was planned and delivered at about 7:30 a.m. This morning by email and then announced to the public shortly after. And the Pac-12 Conference, the new Pac-12, which will feature 5 current Mountain West schools and Gonzaga and WCU and Oregon State, will partner with CBS, which includes the streaming platform Paramount Plus, for football and men's basketball. That includes both of the Pac-12's conference football and men's basketball conference championship games, 3 or more regular season contests for both football and men's basketball, and additional games on CBS Sports Network. And more media partners will be discussed. They're in the works. Those partners could include CW, ESPN. So yeah, it's all coming together. Great start. What impressed you the most about the Pac-12 finding this deal with CBS?
I mean, I think it's very good for the Pac-12 in general, just to be on national news, national TV, or I guess local TV at the same time. I mean, this is like a step up for them. Not that the CW is bad or anything, but CBS is huge national. Paramount Plus, you can watch from anywhere. Very streaming forward, which is very good for a conference nowadays where you need to be streaming forward. This is just a building block for the new Pac-12 and coming up for next season and the seasons after that. Can you tell me a little bit about, I guess, what this might mean for the Pac-12 in general?
Totally, yeah. So this deal, it starts obviously fall of 2026, runs through the 2030 through 31 season. And like you said, it's all exposure is the name of the game. And whereas they could have made maybe more money with another network or taken less exposure for more money, they decided to maximize exposure. And CBS, as Pac-12 insider John Canzano reported today, receives 4 to 5 times more viewers than the now defunct Pac-12 network did, which is where the majority of WCU and OSU's and all the other Pac-12 schools games were on. ESPN could potentially still be a partner for those late night Friday and Saturday Pac-12 after dark slots. CW probably for those day games a lot of the times, but having CBS as your flagship partner for at least football and men's basketball is fantastic. Obviously, that's where a lot of the March Madness NCAA tournament is broadcast on the men's side. So that puts your regular season games and potentially your conference tournament and your conference championship game, squarely in the palate, the appetite of basketball fans nationwide. So when people are when the calendar turns to March and people want to see some March Madness before the actual madness begins, they're going to be watching the Pac-12 championship game most likely, and that's a big deal.
And I've got to only assume that this increases their profits as well, like their revenue, their bottom line is going to go up from CBS as well, getting paid more rather than CW as well, just because CBS has more money. And with the new Pac-12, with these new teams coming in like Boise State or New Mexico State,
Colorado State,
yeah. All these teams coming in. Was New Mexico State even? No.
They're not.
My bad.
If we want to list all the teams, so the teams that are joining the Pac-12 are Boise State, Fresno State, Colorado State, San Diego State, and Utah State from the Mountain West. And then Gonzaga, which does not sponsor football, but obviously has a nationally renowned men's basketball program and pretty good women's basketball program too. And then baseball and all those other sports that Gonzaga sponsors. And so Gonzaga's joining. They do need an 8th full football sponsoring member. That is rumored / highly speculated
Memphis,
to be
Tulane, right?
That's speculated. The 8th full-time member is speculated to be Texas State, with Memphis and Tulane being maybe they'd love to have them, but right now the presidents have made it clear that They just haven't had a lot of motion. There's been more articles written about them, but there hasn't been a lot of progress. That is public. Who knows? Maybe they have all these deals behind closed doors. But John Canzano, ESPN, widely reported that that Texas State will probably join the Pac-12 before the end of the month.
Okay. Before the end of the month.
Yes, that's because as I read from Canzano, shout out John Canzano, listen to him. That's because the exit fee goes up by a lot after July 1st, and so if Texas State wants to take care of their bottom line and get this over with, they might as well do it now. And so to avoid that higher exit fee is my understanding of why that will most likely happen sooner rather than later.
So I guess just more teams in the Pac-12 obviously means more money for the league in general as well.
Certainly.
More revenue from TV, from ad deals, from people watching at games. But yeah.
It is I guess it is a decent thing that, I mean, the more teams you have, granted, the more possibility there is for more revenue, but that's also, more pieces of the pie you have to cut. And so I don't think it's likely that the Pac-12 will be a 12-member, even in football, a 12-member league. At least not right away.
Yeah.
But I think that was 8 football members, maybe up to 9 or 10 for 2026, is what we could see. It has to be at least 8 for it to be recognized as an FBS conference.
Mm-hmm. And yeah. I mean, Paramount Plus, I think it's huge, by the way, too, just because I think a huge issue that the Pac-12 had before it split apart a few years ago was they didn't want to go to streaming platforms. They weren't willing to budge on that, and they wanted to be on, I guess, cable TV. Where streaming like Paramount Plus, I think is good for not just the Pac-12, but for sports in general. People that have Paramount Plus or say Prime Video or whatever other sports may be on. You can watch anywhere at any time. You're watching this game. You can watch on your phone in the middle of the airport, or you can watch on your phone. I don't know, deep into the I don't know the hiking areas around the area. You can watch anywhere from those streaming platforms. I think it's very important for the Pac-12 and for college football in general to be on those streaming platforms, and college basketball.
Yeah, everywhere except for this random 200-foot stretch on US 195 between Colton and Pullman, where I always lose my phone calls.
There you go.
So you probably couldn't watch there. But if you're out, I mean, anywhere else, even on the Palouse Hills, most parts of the Palouse Hills, you can watch Paramount Plus.
And there won't be any blackouts? Do we know about that yet?
From my understanding, just that there wasn't any mention of blackouts in the press releases that both CBS and the Pac-12 released today. I think it's kind of just everywhere. I mean, it would be nationally broadcast, so blackouts are typically for, reserving for a local TV partner, like how, you can get MLB TV, but you can't watch the Mariners through MLB TV because they have that honor, the regional sports network with the contract and relationship with Root Sports. Which now also has a streaming service that's Root Sports only. And so, but because Pac-12, CBS is the only one and only partner for all these games, obviously there'll be other partners for other games, but every game that CBS covers, they'll be the sole provider. So I don't think there'll be any blackouts.
Okay, awesome. I mean, I think our next topic would just be, do you have anything else you want to tell you about the Pac-12 and this TV deal?
Yeah, I will say they didn't release any sort of figures, any sort of financial details on, how much the league is making, how much each school will make. The Athletic, the sports wing of the New York Times did do some digging and cover up, just basically like they uncovered the splits that each team is getting. Like it's like I don't actually have that up in front of me. Give me like 10 seconds. Because I think that's actually good information to have. So, Trevor, feel free to insert like some sort of Jeopardy music or something while we figure this out. Yeah, all right. If you're wondering how the Pac-12 will split revenue, athletic reporter Chris Vanini says equal shares. Each Pac-12 member will keep, including the future ones that haven't joined yet, will keep 50% of the NCAA tournament units that the schools earn. So if a school in the Pac-12 makes the NCAA tournament, each equal shares of the 50% of that. But Oregon State and Washington State will keep the college football playoff money, a bit more than $3 million annually. There's a certain point. College football playoff will remove its participation bonus in 2026, but Pac-12 membership team terms Oregon State and Washington State will keep all revenue associated with a 3-year CFP agreement from 2026 to 28, along with all the NCAA tournament units earned before this year per the document. Yeah, so that's like kind of for like what has been and what might be in the future. But obviously, all this is changing every single year. The Big Ten, SEC are trying to rig the college football playoff structure so that they can reap all the benefits. They kind of already are, but they soon will earn more. Is the speculation. So I don't know. Money, money, money. Must be funny, sunny in a rich man's world. That's yeah. But Pac-12 is one step closer to being in that rich man's world.
Back into the Power
Yippee.
5.
Yeah, rebuilding that Power 5. They certainly were sued like they're in the Power 5 recently, and so they have to deal with that house settlement. But
and then our next topic, the NBA Finals. That just ended a few days ago. The Thunder beat the Pacers in Game 7. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 29 points and 12 assists and won the Finals MVP. But there might be kind of an asterisk around this championship just because Tyrese Halliburton went down with a Achilles tear early in the game. Or I think it was the second quarter that he tore his Achilles. And that just, it means an end to a historic playoff run that he had, where he had multiple game winners, just elite clutch factor, lots of good comebacks. But overall, the Thunder are one of the youngest teams ever to win the finals. They were built really well. They're really good at defense, shutting down offensive threats. And then they have the MVP in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and that's how they won the championship.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, haters and skeptics, and it's a fair criticism. People will say that this one has a huge asterisk next to it because of that Halliburton injury, and there is a lot of truth to that. Obviously Tyrese, he was kind of having a legacy game. He was on fire. He still ended up leading the Pacers in 3-pointers, which reflected more so the lack of shooting from the rest of the lineup it also reflected just how good he was to start that game. But the Thunder, they're still the NBA champions. As much as it may pain my Supersonics loving heart. We'll talk about that more in a bit. But just this Thunder were built really well, as you said. They great emphasis on defense. SGA, 29 points and 12 assists to earn Finals MVP. Cap off a great series and a great playoff run by him. And it was just that. Though also, I understand why they have to do it, but maybe ESPN could show that Tyrese Halliburton injury just a little less. That would be nice. I understand why they got to do it, but it seems a little extreme at some points.
Another thing with the Thunder is they're one of I think 4 teams ever win 84 games in a season and win the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
So they just had an excellent season, their best regular season record in the league, and then really just kind of work their way into the finals. Again, solid defense is like the part of their game. There's Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, Chet Holmgren had 5 blocks, which I think is the most blocks in NBA Finals Game 7 history.
Former Zag, yeah.
Yeah, former
Good
Zag,
stuff.
Chet Holmgren. They just look solid. I don't know. The Pacers had a chance. They were up 2-1 at one point. They won the first game 1-0, and they had a chance to shut them down, but the Thunder just kept rolling back, and I think the Thunder could be kind of scary for years to come as well. Just being such a young team, all in their mid to early 20s, they could be a team that could fight for the championship next year and the year after that. And the East is broken now too, because there's guys that like Halliburton went down with an injury, Jason Tatum went down with an injury, Damian Lillard not as important to the Bucks this season, but he went down with an injury as well. All Achilles tears, by the way.
Yeah.
And the East is kind of wide open next year. It could be like any team could make a run in the East, and we'll see what happens next year. But again, about the Thunder, we got to talk about the Sonics. That's a huge deal around here. A huge deal for us as well. During the finals, there's kind of like a bitter moment where it's like that could be our team. Clay Bennett took our team to Oklahoma. What was your feeling? Obviously, you talk about the Save Our Sonics documentary quite a bit. What's your feeling about the Sonics and the Thunder in general?
Yeah, it seems almost too good to be true in that it's so bad. Like it's all rhyming together. The history is, coming together. The Sonics could very well return as an expansion franchise. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver's confirmed that the NBA will maybe considering expansion this summer. It's likely. He obviously is not going to say anything in particular. He has mentioned Seattle as, with Climate Pledge Arena, which hosts the Seattle Kraken and the Seattle Storm, as they had Seattle's problem and why they lost the team in the first place was their building, and the Key Arena's lack of just I guess
Funding.
niceness, funding. It just was behind a lot of the other state of the art venues and NBA State Commissioner David Stern, and it was just a perfect storm where it was like, hey, this team could relocate to Oklahoma City, and that could be good for the league. And then Clay Bennett, Howard Schultz, the Starbucks CEO and former owner of the Sonics, was looking for somebody to buy the team. Clay Bennett and these Oklahoma City cronies step up. They buy the team, right time, right place, and bad time, bad place for Sonics fans, and Seattle loses its team of 41 years. So the whole way that unfolded is just horrible. And there's Seattle fans who will never forgive the NBA for what they have done. I still think they're going to be first in line when the Sonics come back, opening day 2028 or whatever, when the team returns. When I'm saying when, because as a Sonics fan myself, I didn't really get to be a Sonics fan. I kind of just watched the Sonics Gate documentary on YouTube and got radicalized that way. Would recommend, but like the Thunder, it's like seeing an ex partner, marry their next partner, and you're like the one that never was. Like you're the assist, and so that's how life works, Not everyone. That's actually a horrible example because I think it's unfair that the Sonics. Whereas, moving on, I dug myself a hole here. Obviously expansion is one of the ugliest sides of this business that we all obsess over and call professional sports. The fans are ultimately a vessel for profit. And when they cease to be a vessel for profit and when they cost the NBA money or, whatever business money, then their suffering becomes of little concern. And the Thunder, if somebody swooped in 40 years and bought the Thunder and relocated them, the NBA wouldn't care about those 40 years of history. They wouldn't care about SGA, just like they didn't care about Gary Payton and Sean Kemp and the legacy that they built there in Seattle. And so Oklahoma City, you too could be the victim of NBA relocation. You probably won't, but who knows?
My phone cut out.
Oh, no. Anyways, so yeah, it's just, obviously you could tell I probably am a little delirious at 1 a.m. and bitter, but it's this cloud that hangs over these finals, and just seeing it all unfold. Like it's a weird feeling because the Thunder are sort of a likable team. They've got some good players. Obviously, Pacers were more America's team, super lovable. All those comebacks, all those thrilling moments, and it would have been just so sweet to see them avenge Tyrese going down and to still win that game. T.J. McConnell step up, and he did step up for them. But it's just tough. All
as
around.
Much as like we do say about the Thunder, though, I do respect that they don't honor any of the Seattle stuff.
Yeah,
no banner from 1979 is in their stadium. Yeah, you're right. T.J. McConnell really did step up. I think he scored their only points for like a solid 8 minutes.
Yeah,
it was something like that.
Yeah.
Where it's tough, where it's like a guy comes in like that, and you just feel kind of deflated after a game like that. You play well, but you can't do enough to get your team over the hump, and it sucks to lose like that if you're T.J. McConnell or Benedict Mathurin, guys like that who played well. I think he had 24 points and 13 rebounds. So yeah, I don't know. It's tough for guys to lose like that. And yeah, it does suck for the Pacers when it's like such a great storied run that could be one of the greatest of all time, and then it ends with a torn Achilles. That's definitely brutal. That's definitely brutal.
And then like you were saying, with all those stars in the East, they're not only did they miss the remainder of this season in the playoffs, they will miss likely the majority, if not all, of the regular season.
Yeah, I think they're out for
potentially return for the postseason, but probably not. And maybe if their team makes it deep enough, maybe they'll be back this time next year for a potential finals run. But they're obviously so pivotal to getting to that point in the first place. It's going to be those teams are going to be hard pressed to replace them.
Achilles used to be career ending.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, their season ending could be it could affect your entire career though.
Oh, totally.
Halliburton may never be the same. Tatum might never be the same. Damian Lillard might never be the same. It's just, that's the worst injury in sports is the Achilles tear.
Achilles tears are becoming like the Tommy John of basketball. It seems like they're more and more now Tommy John is like every pitcher has that at least once, sometimes twice, and usually they bounce back and are just fine, if not better. But whereas with Achilles, I mean, modern medicine's advanced so much. That's a great point that it's no longer career ending. People come back from it and they play well. But I mean, you look at Klay Thompson, he suffered 2 injuries over the span of that like 2 year period and was, suffered similar situations, suffered in the 2019 finals, missed, 2020 was weird of COVID. So he missed that season, missed most of 21 and was back in like January of 22. Right. And so that was just a tough sledding for Klay. And now, he's back and has had a solid career since then, won a championship since then. But, you just kind of feel for these guys. And I mean, as a Cleveland appreciator, though, maybe it's the Cavaliers' time in the East.
Oh yeah, I mean they failed in the playoffs hardcore though.
They did, yeah, that was tough.
But yeah, I mean I think our final topic here is Jesse Davis, former Asotin Panther and Idaho Vandal. He just retired from the NFL after 5 years with the Dolphins and then one with the Steelers and one with the Niners. He played every position but center in his career in the NFL. And then he started off as Asotin
along the offensive line, right?
No, he was on the offensive line.
That's what I'm saying. Along the offensive line, every position on the offensive line.
Yeah, he didn't play wide receiver or anything.
Gotcha.
And then he started off as an all-conference tight end and played both sides at Asotin. Was a D tackle at Idaho for 2 years and then switched to offensive tackle in 2013. And then graduated from Asotin in 2010 and Idaho in 2014. He didn't try out for the Seahawks for his first year. Didn't make the active roster in 2015. And was cut, I think, in the preseason.
Yeah.
But he struggled from injury during that run, and then didn't really get going until 2 years later with the Dolphins, when he just like immediately was starting. I think he was a left guard at the start, moved to right guard, and then moved to right tackle, and that's where he kind of stayed for I think most of his career in Miami. Jesse Davis, like I guess, had a solid career. What I read online is he's a Dolphins fan's like favorite guy. Like,
yeah.
Like they love him there. They said he may have not played as well as they wanted him to, but he definitely was a guy that was built into the culture and built into just Miami in general. So he's a fan favorite there. Yeah. Anything else you got for Jesse Davis?
Anytime you can have obviously a 10-year career in the NFL, give or take a bit. He had a 3-year, $15 million extension mixed in there, and that's life-changing money.
Mm-hmm.
$1 million life-changing money, but $15 million over 3 years plus the whatever else he earned over the course of his career, maybe well north of $20 million, maybe $30 million.
I think he made 16.3.
16.3.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty fantastic, and so and he's from Asotin, and that's something to be proud of for the LC Valley and just for Idaho as well, and so. For just opening the Lewiston Tribune archives, there's a Theo Lawson. You may recognize that name of longtime Tribune readers as a former Tribune sports writer and current spokesman Gonzaga reporter. But our friend Theo in 2015 wrote an article entitled "From Asotin to the NFL" about former Panther and Vandal Jesse Davis and his attempt to join the Seahawks. This was, of course, written during the NFL preseason of Davis's rookie year, and it talked about how in the period of time between his Idaho graduation and his, NFL landing on NFL training camp spot, he worked for the United States Postal Service, and he would, sit in that truck and deliver mail, and the postal truck didn't have any audio system, and so he would just sing country songs to himself out loud while he was delivering mail, and so that's pretty charming, and I can see why somebody with that personality would be super beloved by Miami fans in particular. Like that's cool.
In that article, it also says he worked like 8-hour shifts and then went to 3-hour workouts afterwards.
Wow.
Or before.
Yeah.
So it's like that's a busy day for a guy trying to make an NFL roster.
Yeah, it's quite the grind. Those are the kind of stories you just love to see. And so Jesse Davis, congrats from the Tribune if you're listening.
Yeah, he's looking forward to be a full-time dad, he said.
That's fantastic.
Full-time dad,
so cool.
and then just looking for his next chapter in life, he said.
Yeah.
On Instagram. That's where he announced his retirement, was on Instagram.
Good stuff. That's what you love to see. Congrats to Jesse Davis and all of his friends and family. That's just fantastic.
Yeah,
and Asotin in Idaho.
What a fun career. What a fun career.
Yeah.
And then do you want to close this out?
Yeah, that'll be it for this episode of The Final Whistle. Thanks for listening to and tolerating our tangents and staying with us through our whimsy little rants about the Sonics and about Pac-12 media rights and all the above. It's an exciting time in that it's summer and things are a little less busy than during the fall. I'm actually about to embark on a vacation, so I'll be gone for a couple of weeks for an episode of The Final Whistle. We probably will actually not have an episode next week, so we'll go on a little bit of a break. And then we'll probably be back around July 7th or sometime in July. And so, yeah, but Trevor, I guess what's kind of, obviously you're still here, you're still on the grind, reporting to the office every day. What's in store for Tribune readers?
I mean, I guess just a few stories. We got the Kibi Dome, it's the 50th anniversary. We still got a few features coming on. And then, yeah, just working on a lot of features. And then just some interesting tidbit stories that are happening around the Idaho football and Idaho sports in general. The House limit, how that will affect Idaho. Hoping to talk to the Idaho athletic director pretty soon. And yeah, just a few features and a few stories about Idaho are coming up for me.
Yeah, and Hoop Fest is happening this weekend in Spokane. So if you're a basketball fan, maybe head up to Spokane, catch some Hoop Fest. You might run into the Idaho men's and women's basketball teams. They'll be sponsoring a kids clinic on Friday in Spokane, and so it's like for Hooptown, USA, I guess. This region loves their hoops, and so Hoop Fest. I just went to my first Hoop Fest last year, poked around, had a good time. Even if you're not playing a basketball, if you're not touching a basketball, it's still just so fun to walk the streets and see people of all ages, all different backgrounds, just hooping out their hearts. It's really fun. And so, and then the finals are really cool in the pavilion. So, would recommend checking out Hoop Fest if you got the time this weekend. So yeah, thanks so much for joining us and listening to another episode of The Final Whistle. Be sure to like, subscribe here on YouTube, listen on Spotify, Apple, wherever podcasts are sold. Can't use the joke twice, dang it, but whatever. You'll laugh twice, I bet. And so for Trevor Junt, I'm Sam Taylor. Thanks so much for listening to The Final Whistle. Have a great week.